Hey guys, so welcome back to the Knitting Expat Podcast channel. I'm here today to talk about some new patterns that I'm releasing. These should actually now be out by the time this video is up, so I will link them down below, or I'll link the collection down below, and then you'll be able to look at the individual patterns if you just want one or two, or buy the whole collection. So these are the hats. So yeah, these are the patterns that I'll be talking about. This collection of hats that I have created. If you've been watching the podcast since the beginning of the year, you will have seen all of these hats before. I should start by saying apologies if you can hear the background noise. There's a tree in our communal garden which is being seen to by a tree surgeon today. So if you can hear any background noise, that is what that is. I'm sorry. If I'd planned this better, I would have done this recording yesterday when the tree surgeon wasn't here, but it is what it is, and today's the last opportunity I have while Layla's at nursery this week. And I really want to get these patterns out. They've been waiting and waiting for months to be released. I finished these back towards like the end of spring, the early summer, and I didn't want to release them at the time because one, I hadn't had a chance to get good photos taken, and secondly because I felt like we weren't heading into the right season for hats. Let's jump right in. These are, like I said, if you've been watching the podcast for a while you'll know, but these are the New York hat patterns. And again, if you've been watching for a bit longer than this year, last year you'll know that I released the New York Sock Club. It was the very first pattern club that I did, was last year, just before Layla was born. I launched the club, and actually the first pattern was released after she was born. It was a bit of a crazy idea I had decided to do just on a whim. It was maybe a month after we'd moved to New York. We just moved into our apartment. We were moving into our apartment. We had no furniture still. Our furniture hadn't shown up. I was heavily pregnant with Layla, my daughter, and I suddenly decided that in the midst of all of that craziness, what I really needed to do was to design and launch a sock club and knit all the patterns before the baby was born. There were 7 patterns in that collection. So yeah, I think I was a little bit crazy. A bit of pregnancy craziness going on at that point in time, but somehow I did it. Somehow I pulled it all together. I did the club and it went really well, and I was so excited that you guys were so excited about it. This year the patterns are now available for individual purchase, the sock patterns, and so I had quite a few people reach out and ask if I would do accessories, like matching accessories with the same sort of stitch patterns and stuff. And I was like, yeah, actually, you know what, that sounds like it'd be quite fun. So I decided to create the New York hat collection based on the same stitch patterns in the socks. So I'm going to try and go in the right order if I can remember them correctly and show you the hats. So these are the Grand Central socks. So it's not quite the same sort of design or layout of stitches as it is in the socks, but in this case we're going in a spiral around the hat. I've tried to sort of mix it up a bit so they're not all sort of the same style in terms of the way the stitches are used on the hats. Great bit of variety, and some of the crown decreases are different depending on the hat. I think all the ribbings are either 2x2 regular rib or 1x1 twisted rib. So again, mixing it up a bit there, but nothing too strenuous, and you can always sub out whatever ribbing you prefer. My hair is up in a ponytail at the moment, so I've got a bit of weird bulge in the back. That's what that is. And these are all, for the most part, knit in adult sizes, either sort of adult, medium, large size. The hats are designed in 6 sizes, ranging from baby, toddler, child, adult, small, medium and large. So sizes for the whole family. So this one, and they are a mixture of, they're all, sorry, sort of jumping around, they're all knit out of Green Mountain Spinnery yarns, either in the Music DK base, which is a 2-ounce skein. It comes in a 2-ounce skein, which is about 58 grams. I believe it was about 180 yards, I think, roughly around that, 180 yards per skein. Or their weekend wool base, which is a worsted / Aran weight, and that's around 140 yards per 2-ounce skein. So all of these hats can be knit, the larger size can be knit out of a single skein of Green Mountain Spinnery, which actually makes it very affordable because their 2-ounce I think the music and the weekend wool are around the same sort of price, I think. Don't quote me on this, I'm just going off of memory. The last time I saw this yarn for sale was like in January. I think it was around $14 a skein, I think, roughly. And they are worsted spun, sorry, no, woolen spun, hand wash only yarns, so they're non-superwash. They're really nice sort of woolly feel to them without being super scratchy. Anyway, so this is the Grand Central hat on the music base. I think this was in the evergreen colorway. This is the Avenues hat. So this one was actually, it's a bit hard to see on camera right now, but it's just a panel of the stitches, and the rest of the hat is in stockinette, mainly because this stitch pattern is a slip stitch pattern, and it does create quite a dense pattern. I mean, it's still quite stretchy, but it pulls the stitches up, so you can see the front of the hat here is slightly shorter than the back of the hat. Not a huge deal when you're wearing it, but it's not really that obvious at all, and it gives it a definitive front and back when you're wearing it, which I quite like. And I think this was in, I think this was just called teal, this colorway. Then we have, this is the Central Park hat, also in the weekend wool base. And what I did with this one, easier to show you off the thing. So it's kind of, it's the lace pattern slowly disappears as you go around. So if I show you from the side, you'll probably get a better idea. So you start at the bottom, because you're working upwards, the lace pattern goes all the way around, and then as you're working your way up, after a few repeats, you start doing fewer lace patterns and you're introducing more of this wide rib into the hat. And because it's an all, essentially it's a fully ribbed hat, it's just quite a wide rib, and because it's lace, it's very stretchy. And I believe this is the Grasshopper colorway, and that's what the back of it looks like. So I feel like this is really nice. It's a nice sort of chunky hat, but still really warm. Then we have the Yorkville hat, which is a beautiful all over textured hat, much like the socks. Same texture. This is an all over design. I didn't do anything crazy with it because I just really love this texture, and this is a great unisex option as well. I think most of them are unisex, other than maybe this one, which is a bit lacy, might be a bit feminine for some guys, but I feel like all the designs actually are pretty unisex, depending on what colours you choose to go with and what people prefer. But yeah, so this is the Yorkville hat. I really like this one. This was also on the Music DK base in the Brick House colorway. I'm actually surprised I'm able to remember all the colorway names, but I'm pretty sure that was right. Then we have, this is the Q Train, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's right, yeah. It's the Q Train hat. And this is again in the weekend wool base. And I think this one was called Deep Lake. And it's a really lovely sort of greenish blue, like a turquoisey blue. And again, gone with something a little bit different, this time doing the pattern as like a zigzag all around the hat and with a twisted rib. Yeah, and the Avenues hat also had the twisted rib as well. Then next up we have, this is the Union Square hat, and again I've done this one as a panel with the rest in stockinette. You could probably quite easily do this all the way around if you wanted to, but again, just sort of mixing it up and changing how, you know, each one looks a little bit. And again, starts with a simple 2x2 rib because that flows really well into the stitch pattern. And this was on the Music DK in the Mean Mr. Mustard colorway, which I really liked. I love this sort of like mustardy green, sort of quite dirty looking color. I think it'd be quite nice. And finally, we have the Times Square hat. And this one looks really cinched up because I think it's actually an adult medium this size, or maybe even an adult small, I can't remember. But because it's also based in ribbing, it is really quite stretchy. Even this one, which is the smallest of all the hats, fits me pretty comfortably without any issues. And again, this has a 1x1 twisted rib. Sorry, that looks a bit weird getting that close. And it has the same sort of faux cable effect as the sock pattern does. And this is again an all-round pattern, which I really like with this design. And I believe this is also in the Music Dk. I believe the colorway name for this one was Purple Rain. I could be completely wrong. This is the only one I'm not sure on the colorway name. But yeah, I absolutely love this. The details for the yardage and all of that are on the pattern pages for each hat. The colorways that I've used and all that, if I got any of them wrong, will be correct on the pattern pages. And yeah, I'm really excited about this collection. It is been a long time coming. Like I said, I had planned on having this released around mid-August, about a month ago, but because of our moving and everything else, about a month ago we were basically moving in, so it was a bit crazy and a bit hectic. And I only got around to taking photos last week, so this is the earliest that I was able to get them out. But I'm so excited, and to celebrate the launch, I wanted to do a few things. First up, I wanted to tell you about the pricing, so you guys know about that. Obviously, if you've already seen the patterns on Ravelry, you'll know. But the hats are priced at $4.50 each. If you buy it as a collection, it's $19, which is actually the same price as the New York sock collection. If you buy the whole set of those, it's $19. But because the individual price of these hats is actually higher than the individual price of those socks, you get a better saving if you buy it as a collection. So as a collection, you're actually saving 40% on 40% overall over buying each pattern separately. So there's that. The patterns, even though none of these hats have a folded brim, all the hat patterns, if you buy them individually or as the collection, will come with instructions separately in a separate PDF on how to work the folded brim, which I love to do. The only reason I didn't do it for these ones is for the adult sizes. If you want to do a folded brim, one skein of either the DK or weekend wool is not enough to be able to do a folded brim. It's enough to do the largest adult size in all of them, but not enough to do a folded brim as well. You would need a second skein, and because I only had one skein of each yarn, of each colour, I didn't do the folded brim. But that information is in the pattern as well, so you don't get caught out by that. But if you're using a different yarn, or you have a full 100 grams or more than one skein of the Green Mountain Spinnery, you can easily do a folded brim for all the sizes. And yeah, so there's that. That's about the pricing. And I've decided, just as an extra little promotion for this weekend only, so until Monday 17th of September midnight, you can get an additional 20% off the collection price, or the individual patterns, you can get 20% off the individual pattern prices using the code NYHAT, all capital letters. It will be up on the screen. That will get you 20% off at checkout. So if you're buying the patterns individually, you get 20% off the $4.50. If you're buying them as a collection, you get an additional 20% off the $19. So you're already getting a 40% saving by buying them all together. You get an extra 20% on top of that by using the code as well, just for this weekend. So it's just kind of like a little launch promotion. I will also, in addition to all of this, I will be hosting a hat knit along for the next couple of months. So the hat knit along is starting now. You'll be able to find the links down below to the Ravelry threads where that is being hosted. There'll be an FO thread and a chatter thread. So the chatter thread is where you can just ask questions, share your progress, share finished objects, just chat, comment on each other's work. And the finished objects thread is purely for finished objects. No chatter in there. It just makes it easier when I'm drawing prizes to pick from actual finished objects. So the hat knit along, you can actually knit any of the hats that I've designed. I have a fair few hat patterns in my Ravelry shop, so by all means check those out. Any hat of mine that you knit qualifies, but you get an extra entry if you knit one of the New York hats, since you know this is what's just launched. So if you knit one of these, you can enter a picture twice into the FO thread. So it's 2 separate entries rather than just one. So yes, you get extra chances to win prizes. I will pull together some prizes and stuff to give away at the end of the knit along, and yeah, and if you're watching and you'd like to donate a prize, by all means get in touch. I'm always happy to take donations for prizes and stuff for the podcast. So yeah, all right, I think that pretty much concludes it. Oh, the knit along, it runs until I'm going to run it until the end of Sunday 2nd of December. My hope is to be able to get the prizes out that following week, so hopefully the prizes will get to everybody before Christmas or just after. I kind of want to avoid like the really crazy Christmas postage rush. I might be kidding myself. I might be kidding myself, and that might be crazy still, but we'll see. I'm hoping to be able to get them out pretty quickly after the knit along ends, and yeah, so that's that. Thank you for joining me today. I will be back very soon. I need to record another pattern release and knit along video after this, which will be coming out tomorrow. So this is coming out today on Thursday the 13th, I think it is. I can't remember what day it is. And yeah, 13th of September. And tomorrow I have another pattern dropping, so I need to go record a video for that. I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.